Hey! So today I wanted to do another review, and I kind of teased about this last time with what shirt I was wearing, but today I actually wanted to review Seraph of the End. Seraph of the End is actually one of my current favorites right now. It's really, really great. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, I'm going to recommend it a lot. I will have very few negative things to say about this anime. So if you were here hoping that I would shit all over Seraph of the End, I will see you another time, because that's not what's going to happen in this video. So yeah, very, very quick overview, I guess. It has 2 seasons currently out. Each have 12 episodes. Both seasons are subbed and dubbed. So if that's important to you, then you're in luck. And the reason that I talk about that is because I know that there are a lot of people that don't really like watching dubbed anime. Personally, I do. I think that the work that the people do, like dubbing these anime, is actually really, really good. And especially, now, I feel like more than ever, the process of dubbing anime and the cast and everything, it's just gotten really, really good in the last several years. And then also, I like dubs because it helps if you want to watch anime while you do other things. You don't have to worry about, staring at the bottom of the screen and hoping that you didn't miss anything important. Alright, so a very quick, I guess, synopsis of kind of what's going on when the anime starts. So, humanity has pretty much been wiped out by this virus that, supposedly killed everybody over the age of 13 years old. Everyone else got taken to this vampire city where humans are now being used as livestock for vampires. You have the main character, Yu, who gets out and realizes that not all of humanity was wiped out, and now they're sort of forming this big army to defeat these vampires and to destroy all of the creatures that are, fucking shit up, and hoping to restore humanity. The animation is really, really, really good. I really like the way that the characters all look. The design is very, very nice. In terms of general art, it's really, really good. The backdrops for cities and the sky and everything, it looks like a lot of detail was put into this art, which is really, really cool, and it helps a lot. Especially in the first episode, they really went all out for it with art and music and everything else. It's really, really cool. Obviously, it is a vampire anime, and like I said in my Seraph review, if you're not about vampires, then it might not be for you. But the thing about this one is that the vampires aren't really the point exactly, but they are a dominant race in the series, so if that really will bother you, then I guess move on. Same as I said for the Seraph review, I've had friends that don't really like the whole vampire thing, but they like the series just fine, so maybe you will too. I don't know. But the plot is really, really neat. This whole idea of humans being livestock for vampires, it's a different, I guess, twist on the vampire genre. And that's also why I say that the vampires aren't really the point, because they're not. The allure of the series isn't that there are vampires in it, but more of how they're used. Sorry, my neighbor has a dog that never stops barking. So yeah. The other interesting thing is that the demon army that's... they're called the Imperial Demon Army. They're this army of humans that did survive that is planning on destroying the vampires, and they're protecting what's left of humanity. The concept of them is really interesting as well, because they're not supposed to be there, but they are, and they're really just one big, military experiment, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, the first season focuses mostly on the main character, Yu, finding this new civilization and joining the Imperial Demon Army. His family was killed by the vampires, so he vows to get revenge for all of them. The other main character, named Mika, was supposedly killed by the vampires, and you had to leave him behind and, in order to survive. Spoiler alert, he wasn't killed, but instead he was turned into a vampire by the queen of the vampires. That obviously leads to a lot of conflict when they reunite, because now Yu has to completely reevaluate everything that he thought about the vampires, because now, the person that he cares about most is one of them. And that becomes the new issue in Season 2. Whereas before, all Yu wanted to do is kill these vampires, now all Yu wants to do is rescue Mika. And that sort of becomes the plot for Season 2, which is even better than Season 1. Season 2 is amazing. Just everything that happens is so crazy, and it really keeps you hooked. All of the characters develop a little bit more, and you get to see a little bit more of what's going on and why everything is the way it is. Overall, in terms of the plot, I would say it's really, really great. I didn't really find much fault in the plot. So moving on to the characters. The characters are awesome. I love most of them. I say most because there are some that are terrible. So I guess I'll start with the main duo, Yu and Mika. I love them. They're adorable. Yu, he's kind of the stock, spunky, I just want to kill things because I want revenge or whatever. But the best thing about him is that he grows up so much. You sort of get to watch him go from being hell-bent on revenge to focusing on his family and, the people that he loves, and that sort of becomes his priority, is protecting them or saving them or whatever it is, but also to rescue Mika, which is really cool just to see that transition. Mika is my personal favorite. When Mika was younger, he was very, sweet. He was the little suck-up kid. He was, never doing anything wrong except, plotting to get out of the vampire city, which ends up getting him and his whole family killed. Besides that, he was just a good kid. He's letting one of the vampire nobles named Farid drink his blood in exchange for basically protection and food and anything else that he wants for his family. After Yu gets out and his whole family is killed and he's turned into a vampire, he is very bitter, obviously, because now he has to keep living among the people that slaughtered his whole family right in front of him. But once he realizes that Yu is now part of this demon army, and he's been informed by Cruel, the vampire queen, that they've been running tests on him and that he's no longer human, and that there's just all this shit going on, his whole priority is to save Yu. Once you get into Season 2, it becomes very apparent that the worst character in the whole entire series is Kureto Haragi. Kureto is an ass hat. I hate him. He's the worst. He's a great villain because he's awful. Sorry, I'm gonna get really heated about Kureto. He's awful. I hate his eyebrows, and I hate him, and I hate his bullshit. His family is terrible, except for Shinua and Shinya. But fuck, they're all terrible. Him and his whole squad of people. They're just uncontrollable shitbags. Terrible people. But anyway, I digress. The only real problem that I had with characters in Seraph of the End is that there are certain inconsistencies among these characters. For example, they'll say one thing about a character, they'll give a character this specific trait, and then kind of go back on it. For example, in the beginning, they say that Yoichi has a very, very high tolerance against demons, which is cool because he's kind of wimpy. But when Yoichi is testing to get his weapon, he gets completely possessed by the demon. And I was just really confused as to why he got possessed, even though they singled him out as having a really, really high tolerance against demons. I don't know. It just didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Another problem that I had is with Guren and his demon, who happens to be Shinua's older sister, who is dead and apparently now a demon, question mark? They didn't really explain that very well. She's sort of taking over his body towards the end of Season 2. And it's really confusing because, I don't know, they weren't very clear on whether or not Guren is in control of what he's doing or if he's not. So that was just one other issue that I had. Sometimes Yu can be kind of annoying in terms of just like stock, main character bullshit where, they're like, whatever you do, don't do this because this is really dangerous. And he's like, oh, well, I'm gonna do that. They have these pills that basically make them stronger for like a certain amount of time, and then like if you take 2, it's like really risky because you could get, you could kind of go nuts, but it helps a lot. And then they're like, but if you take, any more than that, your insides will explode. So don't do that because, you'll die. At some point, Gurren is in a lot of trouble, and Yu's like, no, I can't leave Gurren behind. I'm just going to take 3 of these pills. I'll be totally fine. And they're like, no, don't do that. And he takes 3 of the pills, and he's like, yeah, I'm great. And then, like, explodes. And you're just like, why? Like, I don't know. It's just normal, like, main character stuff, but I was just so mad. I was so mad that that happened, to be honest. It just really, really bothered me. The last thing that I want to say about this series, particularly about the characters in the series, is that after you sort of see Mika and Yu's relationship go from what it was when they were kids to then what, it becomes once they're reunited, it's really, really, really intense. And it sort of gives a really crazy twist on, like, old friends, reuniting. Like, the first time they see each other after 4 years, Yu, thinking that Mika's dead, stabs Mika, not quite realizing who he is. And you can just see how intense it is, like, and how it fucks with Yu once he realizes that that's Mika. And in the dub, it is acted so well. So yeah, just character development, specifically with those 2 characters, is insane. So overall, I would say that Seraph at the End is really, really great. I would highly recommend it to anybody that is looking for something fast-paced, emotional, a lot of action. It's really, really, really cool. The first episode is really, really intense. So, I was hooked just after the first episode, and I knew nothing about the series going in. I had just seen Mika and Yu and really liked the way that they looked. So I was like, I'm gonna watch this. And I did. I didn't know if I was gonna like it or anything, and I watched the first episode and was like, what? And so, yeah, I like had to keep watching. So, yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I hope to have another video up later this week. Also, I just wanted to apologize for my last video that was up for about, I don't know, an hour or so. And, I mean, it's still technically up, but you can't actually watch it because apparently there was some music in it that has been blocked in the US. So, if you live in America, you can't watch the video. I'll see if I can do something about that to kind of fix it, but again, I apologize about that. Well, thanks for watching. If you liked this, leave me a comment, subscribe, tell me how I could improve, or if you have any suggestions for anime that I should watch, or review, or do a commentary on, or whatever else. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a good week. Bye!